Yeah, how'd you
not
feel
in Tampa.
about the jersey change?
I don't mind it. I
Mm.
mean, marketing wise, yeah, that hurts. Everyone was sold on the 713 thing. I was too. I mean, all of our tweets, like me, yours, Crump, Storm, like all of Texans Twitter was, oh, Stroud the Dell, 713 connection, 713,
Mhm.
and it just sucks that now he's number 3 instead of 13.
Yeah, and then I was kind of surprised he didn't even go to back to number one from U of H. So
Well, I mean, Jimmy Ward has number
oh,
1.
Jimmy Ward does have number one. Shout out to
and
Jimmy Ward, the
and
captain.
yeah, so it is what it is. There,
I don't mind number three. Still looks good.
it looks
Still
good.
very dangerous.
Looks good. Looks good.
It opens number 13. For conspiracy theorists. Shout out to Mike Evans. Shout out to oh boy. Um, Carlos had asked Ruben, "You think Nelson has been better than Stingley at training camp?" It sure does look like it, in my opinion. Steven Nelson came in with so much drama. Let's not forget was complaining about his contract, wanting more money. Took a shot at Nick Casario. You can't trust the MFer who wears a sweater vest and has came into training camp, bought out, and played so well that they gave him a little bit of a raise. So Steven Nelson has been fantastic so far in training camp for the Houston Texans. Obviously, we are waiting for it to translate into week one. Harley, week one is 5 days away. How excited are you?
I'm a little giddy, man. I am. I can't wait. 'Cause tomorrow's already Wednesday. Just feels like I was like waiting for this week to come, and it's already almost halfway through now. So to me, Wednesday's my halfway marker since I only work the weekdays, not
Mm.
the weekends.
Sheesh.
So I feel like I am already 50% done with the weekday in my work week. So I'm almost done, and I'm so excited to get into some of these Texans games, man. I am. We got a lot planned.
A lot planned, and this has come in the blink of an eye. It feels like a couple of days ago we were just waiting in line at training camp, waiting to see what was going to happen, and now we're waiting for week one against the Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to the Astros. Apparently, we are up right now. The Houston Texans, they shared something about 40 minutes ago involving H Town rapper Slim Thug. I'm gonna go ahead and play it right here.
Oh, 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 oh.
What
Here we
happened?
go. Hey.
The past is the past. Tomorrow isn't a given. We are here now. The past is the past. Tomorrow isn't a given. We are here now.
The past is
Okay.
the past. Tomorrow isn't a given. We are here now. Now, on that caption, it says, "Stay tuned with the emoji eyes and the movie roll emoji." It sounds like the Houston Texans are going to be dropping another song.
Yeah, that's exactly. We were talking about this before we started. We couldn't wrap our heads around it, and then you mentioned what I think it exactly is. It's a
Mm.
song. It has to be. They're making a Texan song. Slim Thug's definitely in it. We know Zero's got to be in it. He's been everywhere across the Texans, and he was there at training camp.
Hmm.
We saw Slim Thug at training camp. I'm sure Paul Wall will get his name thrown in there. All the Houston rappers will, as always. They did a song for the Rockets not too long ago, like the Fuse. So hey, it's about damn time we get our respect.
It's been 11 years since the Houston video featuring Slim Thug, Paul Wall, and Zero talked about the Houston Texans. Man, when that song came out, I was
Oof.
bumping that for a month straight. And then it was, you know, when you play that song before the playoff game
Mm.
against the Bengals, you felt different. And that was the
Houston,
first thing I listened to when I
home
woke
of the
up.
Texans.
Houston, Texas,
Mm.
home of the Texans. What?
Mm.
You felt like things were about to change. You had never once seen old H Town rappers coming back and making a song. Then you saw JJ Watt in it, Brian Cushion in it. You saw Paul Wall in the slab sliding through Curry. Bro, man, do that again, bro. And just add a little flavor, add the Mexican OT,
Ooh,
hottest rapper right now in H Town, blowing up. Shout out to the Mexican OT, man. It's like the excitement for this team has not died down, right? It's been all I cannot wait to see this team since draft night, man.
yeah, man, this is fun. It's just fun to think about. Get a song going, you get the vibes back up again. You're ready for week one. All right, man. Let's get it on, man. We got the Baltimore Ravens. You get the song going. You get the crowd with you. Sure, it's not a home game. We all know it's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
at Baltimore, but man, it's just good to see some Texans football finally back, man.
So we're going to go watch it somewhere or what?
Yeah, you know, chat. Let us know if anybody is here in Houston or willing to make a trip to Houston. If y'all are down to go meet up somewhere, watch this Texans
Mm-hmm.
game against the Ravens. If anybody is down in the chat, let us know. And if we get enough people, then maybe we'll do something.
Mm,
Let's see what we got. But for right now, we don't have nothing planned, but that
nothing.
can change
Yes.
within the span of 30 minutes. If this chat gets popping about it, then let's get it on.
No, let's go ahead and do that, man. I am so excited to see the Houston Texans against the Baltimore Ravens, but it will be with the entirely different offensive line. What a beautiful segue that was. The Houston Texans could potentially be without three starting offensive linemen. No Kenyon Green, he was lost for the season. No Juice Scruggs, he is out with the hamstring injury for the first 4 weeks of this season. And then right tackle Titus Howard, according to Aaron Wilson, he was practicing today, but still had the club on his left hand. We don't know if he's going to be ready by week one. Aaron Wilson also said in that quote that expect George Fant to be starting at right tackle if Titus Howard cannot go. Harley, it's a little, I wouldn't say discouraging, but I'm a little less confident going into this game against the Baltimore Ravens. You are thinking you are going 100% ready. You are throwing rookie quarterback CJ Stroud out there going against a very good Baltimore Ravens defense. They were fifth in the NFL in sacks last year. They get to the quarterback like nobody's business, and the Houston Texans will be without potentially three of their starting offensive linemen.
Yeah, that's a rough one, man. The injury bug is biting you at the wrong time, and it's the
Mm,
beginning of the season, and that's hurtful for a young team. A bad loss can change the trajectory and the morale of a young team. Now, I am confident that even if it's a bad loss, which I don't expect, but I'm confident that our new head coach, D'Amico Ryans, can right the ship. He can right a wrong. If it is a bad loss, I could see a D'Amico Ryan say, hey, next play mentality. That was always preached to us all the time. Next play mentality is a thing that D'Amico could obviously use. He's a guy, he's a motivator. That's what he does. He motivates people. He's a
mm.
leader. All right. And the Houston Texans, sure, they're going down without Kenyon Green, Juice Scruggs, and maybe Titus Howard. Aaron Wilson did put out that Fant could be your right tackle. He also had mentioned Josh Jones at left guard and then Kendrick Green at center. But then we get an unofficial depth chart,
Mm,
and the center position is James Patterson,
mm.
not Kendrick Green. Aaron Wilson, buddy. Come on now.
So for those of you who don't know, like Harry just mentioned, the unofficial depth chart was released, and your starting offensive line unofficially would be Laramie Tunsil, Josh Jones, Jared Patterson, Shaq Mason, and Titus Howard. So two out of the three potential starters that are out there, but Jared Patterson is surprising. You would have thought it was Kendrick Green. I expected it to be Kendrick Green. Someone who started in his rookie year at center was a, man, what's crazy, dude? Going off of last podcast, and we talked about Kenyon Green. And earlier today, I was going through our text messages, and it was a matter of when, not if, Kenyon Green was going to have this surgery or be put on IR. And I'm just thinking, to replace Kenyon Green, we brought in a guy in Kendrick Green who started off as a center, was a healthy scratch all of last year for whatever reason, and this year in training camp was practicing at fullback. Josh Jones, who we traded for from the Arizona Cardinals, played all over the offensive line. And it's like, we did not do enough to prepare for this Kenyon Green injury. It felt like we were just hoping that he didn't get hurt, and it came back to bite us in the butt. And when I look at this unofficial depth chart and I see the guy that you traded for not even in the starting lineup, it is Jared Patterson. I'm just thinking, what are we doing here? And it's just like I said, I don't feel as confident going into this game against the Baltimore Ravens with this new Houston Texans offensive line.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know how much confident I would have felt even if it was Kendrick Green. We've seen a lot of low lights from him all over Twitter where he just doesn't look good. Now, to keep the glass half full, per se, maybe Kendrick Green supposedly is a scheme fit here. He fits the scheme better, whereas he didn't in Pittsburgh. Changes scenery, yada, yada, yada. We've heard this 1,000 times from a struggling player going on to a new team rather quickly. We've heard it all the time. And, I think we might get a better point of view whenever we have the Believe in Ravens guys come and share their perspective, as we will be having the Believe in Ravens team connecting with us, the Believe in Texans guys. Make sure you're tapped in. If you're not, go ahead, hit that follow button for the Believe in Texans podcast, anywhere where you stream all your podcasting platforms. Just type in BLEAV, Believe in Texans. Go ahead and hit that download button. You're not going to want to miss that episode. It will be
And we're
happening.
going to need you guys in that chat room supporting H-Town, supporting head coach D'Amico Ryans. They are going to have the Ravens flock in there as well. And we need the Houston Texans Nation there. What do we call ourselves? The Texans Nation?
I don't really know. I've never really found a clever nickname. Like,
man,
Texan Nation? Like, okay.
It's okay. It's a little
Right.
bland.
You can do
It's
some
vanilla.
Yeah, right? Like, it's like fat free vanilla, like it's not even the fatty vanilla. Like, it's just fat free. Like, I need a better nickname. I was gonna say Gooder. What in the world? Gooder? I was gonna say well, we need a better nickname than Texan Nation. Like, I mean, where's our Bulls at? Like, nah, I can't. No. Feel like I'm Chicago Bulls, I don't know. I don't know. We got to think of something. Stampede. Where's my Stampede at?
Stampeders? No, it just doesn't ring good.
No. It's Texan Nation. It is.
Shout out to Texas Nation. # We Are Texans, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what Tank Dell was going to do for us. Yes, also on the unofficial depth chart, your starting punter, wide receiver Tank Dell. Now we saw that. I'm sorry, punt returner. Now we saw that in full effect against the Saints. Made multiple Saints defenders miss. Took it to about the 45-yard line. And anytime your punter can give the offense an extra 20 to 30 yards, you are just salivating at the mouth. It makes things much easier for you. Those are, high energy type of plays. Everyone gets excited when the punt returner gets loose. Harley Tank Dell, punt returner number 1 unofficially for the Houston Texans. How are you feeling?
I'm excited. I am excited for all the Houston Texans fans that are not repping Houston Cougars. Shout out to my Cougs, by the way.
I was there.
Taking care of business against the Road Runners. taking care of business. Had to take out some light work. All
Mm.
right, rocking my Oilers blue jerseys. Oh man, were they sweet. Sure, well, it might not have been. That defense is legit. We did
Mm-hmm.
our thing. The offense is a work in progress. 17-14. Hey man, you stop on our midfield, guess what happened? Take your asses out, beat y'all behind the shed. How about that, UTSA?
It
Come on
was
now.
a
Who's knows?
Coog's house. It was a not a pretty game. Like I said, I was there.
No.
It was
No, it
hot. I was in a section that was getting beamed by the sun. However, those uniforms look absolutely sexy, man. And I was talking to my friend Jacob, and shout out to Caleb, the one who got us the tickets. But Jacob was like, "Can you imagine if the Houston Texans were able to get back this blue? Because when you looked in the crowd, you saw Warren Moon jerseys, Dan
Mm,
Pastorini
mm,
jerseys, Earl Camber jerseys,
mm.
and I'm just like, man, it feels great. And when the sun went down and the lights were turned on, that powdered blue was highlighted, man, and you could see it, and it was a fun game to be at. The Cougars got the win. Both QBs, multiple interceptions. That Houston Texas defense has some dogs on them, man. But shout out to the Cougs for getting a very impressive win. But like you said, dude, Tank Dell is going to be special, and it seems like the Houston Texans are giving him opportunities to go out there and be like that.
He's electric, man. We all know this. We saw it in training camp. He's going to do magnificent things in the punt return game.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest question is, when will they take him off punt return duties? Because at some point this year, he is going to become too valuable for you as a wide receiver
Mm.
that you should not risk the injuries that can happen
Okay.
when he's on special teams. When will that happen? At some point during the year? Because I look at this wide receiver group, and there's a reason why we've cried for a Mike Evans, for a T. Higgins, for whatever wide receiver fill in the blank that's coming out in this draft. My goodness, this draft class for wide receiver could be loaded. You know, there's reasons why we're crying for it, because it's sad to say that a rookie in Tank Dell is
Mm-hmm.
your best wide receiver on this group by a landslide, to be honest. It's not even close what he can do compared to Robert Woods, John Mechie, Nico Collins, Noah Brown. It's not fair. So, when does his value now outweigh the potential means of him as a special teamer?
No, that's a great question. I'm gonna say after his first big hit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say after his first big
That
hit,
makes
head
sense.
coach D'Amico Ryans looks at that and says, "Look, kid, I know you want to be out there, but can't have you out there." Hey, shout out to Houston, man. We finally got some rain. Um,
My goodness.
months, months without rain here in H Town. Texans YouTube connection, yes, sir. David Williams, two of the best out here to do it, man. We will be having more guests once the season gets on. Like Harley said, we are gonna have Believe in Ravens here tomorrow. We're trying to get our boy Landry Locker on the show. Shout out to Landry Locker doing this thing. Just had a
Yeah,
baby,
lock.
but going to bring you guys consistent content, and almost every other day content, man. So make sure you guys are tapping him. Yeah, man. Keon Coleman had
Hell yeah.
an absolute dog. Hey, what about Travis Hunter?
Dude, can play both ways. Corner and wide receiver. Oh man. 130 snaps, bro.
That whole Colorado situation is going to get worse and worse every game that Deion Sanders win. And I was so excited that he basically got 75% of his people to transfer to Colorado. No one believed in Deion Sanders or his son
Yep.
or this team until they just absolutely took it to a team that went to the Natty last year. TCU, first ranked 16, now Colorado ranked 22. And how long until Deion Sanders is coaching in the NFL?
Whoa, whoa. I don't see him as an NFL
I,
coach.
I,
I don't
I
see it.
the spotlight just gets bigger, man. And
Yeah,
I
oh I
mean,
know. The
it's
money
it's
gets
gonna
grows too.
I saw a
Um,
tweet today that says, "How long until he's the Cowboys head coach?" And I was like,
oh
"Oh
god,
my
oh
god,
god, oh god. Now see, now I have to root against them. Oh goodness gracious!
Travis
It don't matter
Kelsey."
what the Cowboys do. They are not. They're just not going to do it, man. They are an accident waiting to happen,
Uh,
as old Stephen A. says.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he did say he doesn't want to coach in the NFL, but I just don't know. He's prime time, man, and
It's true. It's
he looks
true.
good in front of that camera, bro. He makes you want to run through a brick wall whenever he talks. Shout out to
Oh
college
yeah.
football this
Oh yeah.
weekend, man. A great weekend. That's how you start off a
Mm,
football
mm.
season. As we look forward to week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens, the Houston Texans have named their captains for this season. Now, on 2 of them on your defensive side, Jalen Petrie, Jimmy Ward. No surprise there. I think Jimmy Ward was going to be captain from the get go, captain of the defense, and pretty much the whole entire Texans team following D'Amico Ryans here. You know, Jalen Petrie was the only bright spot on the Houston Texans defense last year. Has had a fantastic training camp so far. I have no issue with those two being captains.
My bad. That was a bad time to drink water. Uh, yeah, no, I have no problem with both safeties being the captains. I mean, I felt like this was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
We all knew Jimmy Ward was going to be a captain. Just how he talks about himself, how he carries himself. He just Jimmy Ward just looks like a football player. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
born to play football. Like I can't see him in any other sport. He just looks like a guy that was born to play football. I know guys like that. I know guys that just they don't matter. They go out on that football field and they're different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Jimmy Ward. He's really, really good free agency pickup. Super stoked. All Texans fans are stoked to see him this year. Jalen Petrie, who seems to be on the verge of superstardom. I mean, what he did in training camp to all the way to the the game against the Miami Dolphins. Well, not the game, but the oh my goodness, joint
Practice.
practice to end joint practice, which was such a load that it was ending on. And he says, "Nope, I got you. Put the team on my back. I got it. My backpack big enough." Goes out there, pick six, Tua Tagovailoa, tells him, "Go home. F you. Expletive thrown." The whole Houston Texans defense side, the team just dogpiles him.
Mm.
Fun time. You can obviously see that Jalen Petrie and Jimmy Ward are going to be the heart and soul of this Texans defense, if not this Texans team. But with a heart and a soul, you still need a leader.
Mm.
You got two other captains that are on the offensive side.
You got 2 other captains on the offensive side. One of them being Laramie Tunsil, who you just gave a 3-year, $75 million extension. Absolutely deserves it. Looking for his first All Pro. You know, Laramie Tunsil has been one of the few Houston Texans players from the get go saying, this is going to turn right. He
Mm-hmm.
endorsed D'Amico Ryans. He's been on the Pat McAfee show many times talking about D'Amico, talking about Nick Casario, CJ Stroud, saying he believes in what we are doing. He was on the podcast with Ryan Clark and company a couple of days ago, and he said, I could see myself holding the Lombardi here in Houston. That is one of my goals. Like Laramie Tunsil was one of the best left tackles in football. And if he believes it, man, I'm gonna believe it too. This is a work in progress, and he knows that. That's why I'm so excited for this season from Laramie Tunsil. Your other captain,
Mm,
the guy you took with the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft,
mm.
CJ Stroud, step up to the mic. This is your team. This is your city, and you are captain of the Houston Texans. I don't have any issue with this. I've seen a lot of people have issues with it. I go on Facebook. That is a treacherous place to be at for Houston Texans content. No issue with CJ Stroud being named the captain.
None whatsoever. Start with LT. It was absolutely fun watching him on the Pivot podcast. Man, that was great. I mean, it gives you chills. Him talking the way he did, it just makes me think about how just a few years ago we were like, hey, we could trade this guy to the Bengals and get a first round pick for him, a late first round pick. And hey, I was on board with it. I just thought that he was not interested in playing football here in Houston. I thought that he'd rather go to a winning team. I just thought that just felt like that's what it was. So I'm glad that I'm wrong about that. And I'm glad to hear those words come out of his mouth. It made me feel completely different, which I already was on LT, but that solidified it in my opinion. I got more excited to hear him talk about H-Town and talk about raising a Lombardi here. And that is the ultimate goal for any NFL player. But when it comes to LT, he's a little bit different in terms of his character in regards to other football guys. So it was good to hear that. CJ Stroud, though, number 7, wearing the C on his chest. Man, I mean, what else is there to say? You picked him at number 2. We were all hyped on draft day when we got CJ Stroud because we finally have hope again. And that hope is there at number 7. He's your captain. And we've heard the players throughout training camp basically reference him as QB1 before there was ever a QB1 or competition whatsoever.
Shout out to Davis Mills.
Shout out to the Mills Mafia. They're crying somewhere, buddy. Titus Howard had mentioned it many times. He mentioned CJ Stroud as a QB1. Implied it, never said it. Texans players followed. Texans players also mentioned how CJ Stroud was very talkative during the practice sessions, whether it was him talking trash, whether it was him the way he commanded the huddle, whatever it was. CJ Stroud was always mentioned by not only young guys but the veterans, and the veterans had good things to say about him. And it felt more than just like coach speak or just like a written line. Like it felt more than that, because you're always going to defend your teammates. Like that's just what you're going to feed the media. Oh yeah, the Davis Mills, he's fantastic. You're going to always say that. But it felt a little different when it was CJ Stroud out there. I'm glad that we got hope back here in Houston. I'm glad that he's the one that is representing the hope. And I hope that everything works out just fine. It all starts Sunday for the beginning of what we want to be a long career here for him in H-Town.
What's so crazy is I look at last year's captains. Brandon Cooks,
Ugh.
Davis Mills,
Ugh.
John Weeks,
Ugh.
Old Man Jerry Hughes,
God.
and Christian Kirksey. 2 of those guys not even on the roster. The quarterback is now a backup here. That was what we had to hype up, bro. That was what we had to look forward to. And Lovie Smith, we trust. That was what they said.
Not me.
And to see the captains now, they make sense, right?
Yes.
Jimmy Ward, Jalen Petrie, Laramie Tunsil, and my rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud. Man, bring me the Baltimore Ravens. Harley, we could give a little preview. How are you feeling about the game?
Alrighty. Here we go. I'm a little worried. Not to derail the hype that we have been on for the last 20 minutes and some change, but I am a little worried. And not so much defensive. Well, a little bit defensively, because Lamar Jackson is always fun to watch. That is a huge task for this Texans defense that we haven't seen on the field yet. Sure, you can say what you want about 3 preseason games. D'Amico Ryans is now calling these plays. He's your defensive coordinator slash head coach. How is this going to affect him if it does? I do have faith in him. I have a lot of faith in D'Amico to per se that, but I do believe that he can wear both hats and he can do both effectively. The defense, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews is going to play. Um, you have Odell Beckham Jr., you have Zay Flowers, you have a healthy J.K. Dobbins on that team as well. Isaiah Likely is the backup tight end. You can't forget about him either. And not only can you not forget about any of those guys, you also can't forget that Lamar Jackson can not only pass the ball a lot better now than he did before, but he can hurt you with his legs. And that is something that it is tough to replicate in practice. You don't have anybody that can replicate that, regardless of the old quote from David Coley having Jeff Driscoll be your Lamar Jackson replicate. Jeff Driscoll was very athletic. Very.
That boy could play.
That boy, man, they played him at tight end. Woo-wee.
Shout out to Julian B. Shout out to Jeff Driscoll.
Hey,
His
shout out to Julian.
his throw to Amari Rogers, Texans legend, is just, dude. You know what's crazy, bro? Is I go back and I look at some of our victories, and I'm like, damn, we really had some motherfuckers. Oh, I'm sorry, we really had some MFers at the end of their career or journeyman. Nate Washington, Derek Mason.
Oh my God.
To go back. Tyler Johnson.
Ew. Oh, man. Wow. I forgot about that guy. Oh my God. We've had some bums at wide receiver besides Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins,
Kevin Walter.
A few years of Will Fuller.
Man, Will Fuller healthy, bro.
Boy, fantasy stud for me. I had him when he played against the Falcons, and I started him and Hopkins. Oh my goodness gracious! What a fantasy week that was. He dropped like 45 points or whatever.
Shout out to fantasy football. Harley, are you? So we're in the same fantasy football league. How confident you are, you team?
I'm somewhat confident. I'm a good 6 out of 10, I'd say.
Okay.
I'd feel a lot better when Jonathan Taylor gets traded to the Miami Dolphins and he becomes their starting running back. And he's their only running back option because he is on my team. And I would very much like that with touchdown machine James Conner. Miles Sanders, we'll see what I can get from him this year. He was great last year, but he's not been good many years before that. So we'll see. Fantasy football guys, anybody that wants to chime in, shout out to Jalen Hurts as my QB.
Jacoby Jones.
Man. All I think of is that damn Ravens game in the playoffs.
Super Bowl, buddy. Almost won the MVP.
Screw him, bro.
My fantasy football team, their name is the Riley Reid option. My starting quarterback, Kirk Cousins. I drafted him very late. I feel like I have 2 studs at running back, Josh Jacobs and James Cook. I'm very high on James Cook with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson.
That's easy.
A.J. Brown.
Okay.
Keenan Allen. My tight end is Evan Ingram. And I'm finishing it off with the Steelers defense. I'm about a 6. Right? One of my sleepers who I'm expecting to just win the league for me is George Pickens. So I am excited to see what George Pickens gives me this year.
Second-year receivers are always doing well in this league. It's the reason why I got Garrett Wilson on my team.
Bastard, I was trying to get him and you snagged him.
I got Stephon Diggs, and then 2 picks later, boom, Garrett Wilson. Because they picked Nick Chubb, who I was going to grab. So I was like, I'd rather go get Garrett Wilson than get any of these other running backs. I didn't really like them too much. So hey, got Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Oh yeah, we gonna have that. Garrett Wilson gonna have himself a year.
Final episode of Hard Knocks is tonight. Excited for that as well. But going back to the game against the Baltimore Ravens, it's going to be D'Amico's defense against that Baltimore's offense. And I think this is going to be the real true test of this swarm mentality, right? The
Yeah.
last time we saw this defense go against a very good offense was against the Miami Dolphins. And it wasn't a great showing at the preseason game, but also during training camp as well. You know, the two practices that me and Hardy were there, the Miami Dolphins was the winner of the day. So this game against the Baltimore Ravens is huge for D'Amico Ryans, man.
It is. The defense has got a tall task, like I said already. So it is what it is, what they have to do. They know what they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole offense stirs around Lamar Jackson. The biggest thing that I want to know, and we'll obviously get with the Believe in Ravens guys, but I want to know their confidence level on their new offensive coordinator. He came from Georgia. He has 0 NFL experience. How is he going to make this work? It does feel like it should be relatively easy, but they had Greg Roman, and Greg Roman is, you can say whatever you want about him, but he's experienced and he's had success in this league before. You would have thought that he could have made this work, and it just didn't seem like it happened. So with that being said, solid team there.
Very solid team.
My goodness. Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Drake London. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a solid team. Altuve is putting on a clinic, Mr. Johnny Lambo. Boys, 2 home runs for Mr. Jose Altuve. 6-0 last I checked against the Rangers. Yep, still 6-0. And he's only bottom of the second, top of the third. Oh, yeah. Talk about whooping that ass, huh? Talk about, you know what, let's continue to Believe in Texans before I overtake Believe in Astros with Jeff Blum and Jeff Balke. Don't forget to tune into them for Believe in Astros, where you can find us as well on Believe in Texans, anywhere where you stream all your podcasting platforms.
Jose Altuve is not human.
He's
not. He's like, okay, so the way I'm going to tell my kids about Tom Brady and LeBron James, I'm going to have to talk about that like with Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve might be one of the best hitters at second base in all of baseball. You're a MVP, a 2-time champion, and you're not done yet. Jose Altuve could end his career being one of the best baseball players ever.
Ooh, yeah, I love hearing that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Give me all of that ice cream. Serve it up. He's the best second baseman in baseball history. Easy. There isn't nobody better than Jose Altuve in baseball history. I'll go throw out playoff numbers if you really want to get into it. You can say bang, bang this, buzzer, buzzer this. Yeah, we cheated. Yeah, and we won that title too. How about that, huh? Where's it at? It's still down here in H-Town. Jose Altuve is the GOAT for a reason, and he will be arguably one of the best baseball players to ever play. And the biggest thing about it is he is shorter than me and you.
Yes. A guy who was cut multiple times by the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Met one of the coaches in the parking lot crying, saying, give me a chance. James Harden. Shout out to James Harden.
Yes, sir.
Altuve didn't cheat. He's innocent. Yes. When the report came out on the amount of times the trash can was banged at the batters when they were up at bat, Jose Altuve was down on the list. I think it was less than 5, maybe even less than that. And they asked the former players about Altuve, and they said he would get pissed off if he heard that trash bang when he was up at bat. This dude didn't cheat. And even if he did, I don't give a damn. Martin Maldonado just homered right now, 8-0 Astros. put in a clinic on the Texans Rangers, man. I hate the Rangers more than the Yankees, honestly,
Oof.
right? They didn't switch that playoff series during Hurricane Harvey. They're the
Mm.
main ones talking trash, right? I think they uh one Rangers insider put out that this is the best ballpark to play against Altuve in. And then that same night, Altuve he hit for the cycle.
Oh yeah.
Just man, I am. I think Jose Altuve just hit another home run.
No way. No way. Oh my goodness gracious. The more we talk, the more home runs he's gonna hit. Oh my goodness. I don't know if he did or not. I haven't got no update
Nine
yet.
zero. Jose Altuve
Jesus.
homers to center field. We're gonna have to clip this, dude.
Yeah, we're clipping this. You'll send me the video afterwards. But like Mr. James Harden says, send their ass back to Arlington. Oh wait, they already in Arlington. You know what? They might as well just stop playing for the rest of the year because the Astros are baptizing them. We're sorry to get on our Astros rant. We're huge Houston fans. Score prediction real quick for the Houston Texans off the top of the dome. Ravens beat us.
I'm gonna go Ravens.
27-17.
That's perfect. Ravens beat us. They do, and I'm gonna say, I hope the Houston Texans get more than 13 points. That will be the
Yeah.
goal for me, offensive wise. Here's the thing: this Baltimore team is legit, and they are gonna have a chance to go to the playoffs and prove themselves. They have a former MVP. Their wide receiving core, Zay Flowers, OBJ. I mean, it's special. Mark Andrews might be one of the best tight ends in the league. So, what you are going to want to see from this Houston Texans team,
Could happen.
show some heart, show what they didn't show all of last year.
Yeah.
And what the offense you want to see, if you could get the run game going, you want to see what year 2 of Damian Pierce is going to give you, because Damian Pierce, he is
Mm-hmm.
looking to run some people over. I'm pretty sure Damian Pierce is expecting himself to have almost 110 plus yards out there.
Yeah.
With the defense, man, it's going to be, can you contain Lamar Jackson, the former MVP? It is going to be tough, right? But what a better showing of what you are going to get from this Houston Texans team. Oh, I don't. Yeah. Are y'all really fans? I'm H-Town till I drown, brother. Been here since
Yeah,
the
man.
beginning. Still will be here. No matter if this team loses, right? Past 2 years, only 7 wins. I've been here. Harley's
Mm-hmm.
been here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Hey, man, I've been here. We were there every single training camp public. We were there to every single one of them. I do not want to hear whether or not I am a real fan. So I sweated my ass off since 5 a.m. And people know because I posted it on my YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go and scroll at the lead underscore HOU. And you can scroll in there and see all the videos I post about the Texans, all the posts that I had of us in training camp. I was there since 5 in the morning, 5:30, 6 in the morning sometimes. The latest I ever was 6:30, and I felt bad.
Mm.
But I'm telling you right now, there is not a bigger Texans fan than the two you are looking at right here. And shout out to anybody that doesn't want it, that isn't comfortable speaking on the platform. I appreciate all of the Texans fans that are diehards as well, that don't showcase it as much as we do. I appreciate all my Houston fans. Sure, do I want the Texans to win? Absolutely. Realistically, I just don't see it happening. The
Mm-hmm.
Ravens, on paper, are a better team than the Houston Texans. If that's a wrong statement, then apologies. Oh well. But the Baltimore Ravens, breaking news, are better at football as of right now than the Houston Texans. Now, yes, they have a first year OC, but we have a first year head coach, DC combination, and first year OC in Bobby Slowick, rookie quarterback. The offensive line is not at 100%. We don't know what we're going to get. We are definitely excited.
Mm-hmm.
We have the players to complete the tall task that can happen and upset the Baltimore Ravens. Dare I might say that we do that? I'm not sold on it. I'm just
Mm.
not. Sorry. I appreciate it. Just not sold.
Jack Eubank says it. I mean, the best way I could say it right now. I
Yeah.
care about week two,
Me
and I
too.
don't think anyone put the Houston Texans winning this game against the Baltimore Ravens. If we somehow did, I am smashing. We're going to the playoffs. We're going to the Super Bowl. This team is special. Realistically, I think it'll be a tough game against the Baltimore Ravens. But I think week two against the Colts, Anthony Richardson
Mm,
versus CJ Stroud,
mm.
a division game, a home game. The first time Houston fans will open its doors to CJ Stroud, D'Amico Ryans, Will Anderson Jr. That is going to be the game that you are winning, and I am expecting the Houston Texans to win.
Yeah, I'm expecting a week 2 win. We'll definitely get into that as we might have some believe in Colts guys maybe in our future for week 2. That should be fun. Interdivisional talk is always fun because the trash talk is a little more trashier and it's always great to get into it. But we'll stay on week 1. I don't think the Texans are winning. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, maybe our opinions change come Friday. We'll never know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do a because we're gonna be back Friday and give you guys a full preview, of the game. We're gonna match up quarterbacks, match up O line, wide receiving group, and really break it down, man. So I'm excited. The work just started. Make sure you guys are tapping in at the lead underscore Houston. Harley, tell them where they can find you.
Just like you said, search it into all the social media engines at the lead underscore Houston. Check me out on YouTube. I'm almost at 4,100 subscribers. We are on the
Mm,
way to 5,000 subscribers. It's been a little bit of a crawl lately,
mm.
but we are definitely going to get back on it with the games coming up. We got some pre-gaming that we're going to have for the Ravens and Texans game. No, I did
Pre-game,
not
man.
mean alcohol wise. I do mean video wise. And then I will have my reactions as to the post game. If anybody is on Twitter, we will be hosting spaces as much as we can, pre-game spaces, halftime spaces, post-game spaces, as many as possible. So make sure you're tapped into those. And that's basically what I got to sell. Don't forget to check out the Believe in Texans podcast. BLEAV, Believe in Texans podcast. You will find myself, you will find Mr. 713 Ruben, as we always do, trying to keep you with the latest updates on all Houston Texans news, rumors, silliness, coaches, Slim Thug. It doesn't matter. We'll keep you updated.
You can just type in 713 Houston Sportcast in the search bar for me, boys. Like Harley said, we are going to keep up the content. And as we get ready for week one, it feels like it's already like middle of the season for us here, man. So stay tuned for the content. Budnick says our Texans are going to be booty this year. Hey,
What do we know?
what do we know? Nonetheless, guys, thank y'all for being a part of today's live, and we will be back Friday night to preview the Houston Texans Week 1 matchup against the Baltimore Ravens.
Pitiful.